Today on the channel, the boyhood dream comes true with the hawk and the animal, the Road Warriors, Big Rubber Guys.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another major Bendies Big Rubber Guys unboxing and review. And today on the channel, possibly the set I've been the most excited for, basically going back to when I was a little kid. We're talking about the hawk, we're talking about the animal, we're talking about old school classic NWA Road Warriors. But for all your major Bendies needs, MajorBendies.com. But for everything else wrestling related, hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there. And these might be going to Ringside. You just kind of never know with some of these things. But they do have some of the other Big Rubber Guys right now you can dive into if you want. And of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And personally, this is something boyhood Kyle dreamed of back in the day. I was a kid of the, of course, LJN generation and Hasbro generation. I walked the line between both of them in my childhood. So it was a big, big deal to be able to play with action figures, especially wrestling figures as a kid. And one thing I always dreamed of as a kid, be it Hasbro, be it LJN, was getting the Road Warriors. And I was over the moon, as you can imagine, when the Legion of Doom came to the Hasbro line. But man, oh man, I always dreamed of LJN days, being able to play with Hawk and Animal. Never came to fruition. I would kind of use Axe and the Warlord as kind of use my imagination and kind of pretend they were the Road Warriors or Demolition. That's what I had to do, and that's what you had to do when you were a little kid. But man, here we are all these years later. And I just can't help but think, man, what would I be doing if I was a little kid and had these? My mind would have been blown. I go back to that Ultimate Warrior LJN, how big of a day that was for me when I got that as a kid. I mean, he went through the entire roster. I was just thinking of all the matches I could play. My favorite wrestler when I was a kid, his first ever action figure, how big of a deal it would have been for me, or it was for me, and how big of a deal this would have been in the LJN days. And as you guys know, I wasn't a Remco kid. That was before my time. So this would have been the first time if they would have had LJNs, which obviously they never got. But man, the time is now. We got them here from the Big Rubber Guys, and we're going to dive into these two here. And I guess we're going to start with the Hawk. Why not? We'll start with Hawk. That's who I looked at first. Big Rubber Guys packaging, uniform at this point. We know it, we love it. Do we want some more of it? Maybe we do. But you do got, of course, Major Bendies, Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Hawk down here. Glamour shot, and then the figure in the bubble there. Of course, removable packaging on this one. Quite the cross-sell. This line is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then bigger from there. A lot of figures in the Big Rubber Guys, as we do know. But we're going to pull this bad boy out. You just slide the back carding. Now, I do save my packaging on these, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. About that, but I do save the packaging. I do store these for now. I like the removability of these. You can keep them nice and clean, and you never know. One day I might transition these all to a mint card collection, put them all up on a wall. You never know what I might do. I'm going to keep you guessing. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to put that off to the side. A gentle see you later, but man, now it is time. We got the Hawk, and man, whew, soaking it in, drinking it in is what I'm doing right here. You got that classic old school face paint. I mean, I love the LOD. I love the Legion of Doom era in the WWF. I think a lot of us did, but there's something about that old school NWA, I guess you could say AWA, and maybe even a little WCW version of the Road Warriors. Just a little darker, a little meaner, a little tougher, a little stiffer. Obviously still that way, but just something about the colorful red spikes made them, I don't want to say cartoony, but not as evil of a threat as maybe they are in the black and silver. Something about this just looks meaner than the red stuff. But I love the red shoulder pads, and man, I love the blue shoulder pads as well. Give me any LOD, I'll be buying them. Any Road Warriors LOD, I'll take them. But man, this Hawk looking good. Of course, I talked about the face paint there. You got the tongue out, which always works for Hawk. I'm not a huge fan of that, but for Hawk, definitely works. I can just see him up on the turnbuckle doing this move right here. Got the tongue sticking out, a little purple on that tongue. Has he been sucking on a sucker or something? Not sure exactly what's going on there. 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, and a mouth. He's got the human hits going on. He does got that classic hawk hairdo as well. Getting down to the spikes, of course, the football shoulder pads looking very good. You got the chains going here on the side. You got all the spikes looking very, very nice. Very minimalistic compared to some of the more fancy color ones, but man, they look awesome right here. Chains really add an extra dimension to it. Now, these do slide off, I am told. Oh my gosh, they're on there very tight. I'll tell you what, they're not going to just fall off on you. Oh my gosh, can I get these off? They're very tight on here. There we go. All right, got it off. I like that, though. I like that they're not going to fall off. And I got to say, a little bit sharp on some of these spikes. I'm actually surprised they used this sharp of one. I mean, you could just carve a kid's head up with this one if you want to. So if you're a little kid, no swinging these around and hitting your brother or sister. Man, very sharp on these spikes. I mean, I could easily draw blood with this. I could pierce myself with this. So that's a danger. You have this on the floor and your mom steps on it as a little kid. Oh, watch out. That'd be a bad day at the office. But love those spikes right there. But now we're diving into the hawk. Hawk, he's got muscles on top of muscles is what he's got going on right here. Looking very cool, a very cool hawk position here. I don't know if I'll have him like this very often. He'll always be displayed with the spikes for me. That's part of the Road Warriors beauty is having the spikes on him. But looking very, very nice. Like I said, muscles upon muscles on this one right here. 2 fists of fury over here to the side. Very good. I always think of these, how good would they be to play with? Well, you're doing clotheslines, punches, cross bodies. There's a lot of stuff. Power slams with him. It's a pretty good body size, I would say, for him as well. LOD on the side. Warriors on the side over here. You got the black boots down to the buckles. Black tights throughout on this one. Looking good. 2024 Major Bendies. Big rubber guys on the bottom there. Truly a magical day here, but we're not done. We got to get the animal. We got to get the animal. You can't have hawk and animal and have these guys separated. You got to have them both. And I'd be interested to hear from the Major Bendies team. Did anybody order just hawk or just animal? That seems so crazy to me, but I bet somebody just said, you know what? I'm just collecting animal. I'm just collecting animal. That's all I'm going to do. Who knows? Maybe there's somebody like that, but it's not me. I got to have both of them. Once again, same packaging going on, but you got animal down here, glamour shot, of course, the figure. Exact same backing on this one as well. We recently unboxed Dusty Rhodes, and I was calling it the minute they announced Dusty Rhodes. I said, how do we get Dusty Rhodes in the face paint to join these two? I think it would be amazing repaint. I hope one day they do revisit that. I would love to see that one day. I said the same thing about Andre the Giant with the Ultimate Warrior face paint, and they did announce that just recently. So maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance. We'll see what happens. But we are going to get the animal out. And once again, I'm saving the packaging. You know how that goes. If I can get it in there. Now, I will have a big gripe on this one a little bit here. I got to talk about, and I've had this before, unfortunately, but the inner plastic tray is very, very weak on these, I have noticed, especially some of these bigger figures with these kind of spikes on them. It did pinpoint and break all this plastic inside. So, like I said, I try to keep this packaging, but it's very unfortunate that the package is all destroyed inside there. So, hopefully they can go back to the factory and tighten up that plastic a little bit. It needs to be a stronger variety of plastic there, because that's not the only one I've had that has had that issue. But now we get the animal out. Oh my gosh. And I love that they gave animal different spikes than hawk. They could have took the easy way out, just gave the same shoulder, the same spikes. They did not do that. They made them like the character actually had back in the day. So very cool to get the different spikes going on this one. Chains throughout, silver and black attack like a young Oakland Raiders back in the day is what it looks like. Animal all day long. Love that spider in the forehead. Very, very classic. The green and black attack going on. Looking very good. Got the facial hair. Got the, of course, iconic hairdo. 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Playing those human hits once again. 2 fists of fury on the animal as well. It's almost like he's giving you the old flex right there. He's getting after it. Do like this one. And I think of playing with this one back in the day. Bear hugs, pile drivers. A lot of stuff going on with this. But man, oh man. So fun. And I feel like I missed out in my childhood a little bit. I mean, I didn't and I did. I think you know what I mean. It's just, I just wish I was 8 years old and I had these in my collection, or 7 years old, whatever it would have been. Would have loved to seen that. Just would have loved to had that experience to be able to play with these back in the day. I guess better late than never is what we're saying, but man, it just makes you say, what could have been? What could have been? Life's regrets. Oh my gosh, a tough regret to have, let me tell you, but looking very good. And of course, shoulder guards come off a lot easier on this one, so they go slip right back on. I have to imagine, look at that. I gotta say, that's pretty cool that they don't just slide off. They just stay on there very, very well. So very cool. And once again, muscles upon muscles. That's how they do it. LOD over here, Warriors on the side. Are these the same legs? Are they identical legs between the two? Looking similar. Nope, they are different. Animal's got some different things on his boots here, so there is differences here, so I'm glad to see that. I don't mind a lot of reuse, that's the name of the game, but they did a little attention to details with the Hawk's boots and Animal's boots being different. Very, very cool, and obviously no articulation on these figures. I think everybody knows that going into it, but man, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for you, especially for young Kyle. If young Kyle could see me now, he'd be smiling. That's what he'd be doing. He'd have short hair, he'd probably have a buzz cut, but he'd be smiling. There's no doubt about it. So, man, absolutely fabulous, and probably the best Big Rubber guys yet. I mean, it's just something that needed to be done so many years ago. Finally getting it now. Finally getting it looking so good, and we do know Big Bad Toy Store will have an exclusive in the more classic Legion of Doom red. Would absolutely love to see them in blue as well, and I do know they try to, apparently, to get a few others, and I do have some customs, and I'm not usually a customs guy, but I do have some customs, and apparently they couldn't get the license approval to this, but I do have the Legion of Doom here, Road Warriors, in some Zubas. I would love to see that. That would be very, very cool. But love these. Like I said, I'm not a customs guy, but stuff like this, I couldn't resist, especially without these being in existence at the time. So I got the Zubaz ones there, but not done. I do got a classic version too. I guess we call these more AWA versions of the Road Warriors Legion of Doom. Another set of customs. I believe it was Grizzly Beard Customs, I think over on Instagram is who made these, and I bought these from. But I guess I'll say, hey, here's AWA, here's NWA, here's the Fashion Plate Zubaz, and then the upcoming ones from Big Bad Toy Store. There's going to be my WWF, WWE. Really covering all the bases in the Road Warriors. I feel like I just really want to get the blue shoulder pads next. So I hope that does come to fruition. Maybe in 2025 if we're lucky. But a slam dunk here from the Big Rubber Guys team. Absolutely love the Hawk. Absolutely love the Animal. Absolutely love the Road Warriors. Happy to have these in my collection. But what say you guys and gals? You guys pick these ones up? If not, what the heck are you doing? But let me know your thoughts on these two in the comments down below. And you made it this far, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you over on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support this YouTube channel and all the content it does bring. Plenty of stuff to keep you busy every single day. ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. My book, now available on Kindle. It is the complete guide to the Jakks Classic Superstars series. A labor of love if there ever was one. About 700 pages of content. Check it out if you have not already. SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagrams where you can find me on social media. So for the Big Rubber Guys, Road Warriors, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.